Hello and welcome to the Tomcast. I'm Tom, president and dictator for life of 515comics.com, and today I have my fabulous guest, Matty Martin.
Hello.
So we are going to talk about something I mentioned on last week's Tomcast, a new comic, or a resurgence of an old comic.
Yeah.
At the 515 Comics Facebook page, Star Wars Kinda.
Yes, it's back.
For people who don't know, who aren't old school 515 Comics alumni, whatever, I don't know. What is Star Wars Kinda like?
Well, it's comic. It's actually known as a fumetti comic, which is an actual thing where you use photography to capture and tell a story. And it's a comic story. So, I mean, the biggest inspiration at the time was probably Twisted Toy Fair Theater.
Yeah.
Because I collected Toy Fair. I am a big toy fan. That was a huge inspiration to be like, this is really fun. I think I could probably do something similar to this. I'm working on comics at 515comics.com. And so, you know, I already had an outlet to actually do something.
When do you think you originally did the comic? Like, back when you first did it, do you know when you started it?
I think it was fall of 2005 to probably spring maybe of 2007. So it was probably not 2 years, but probably a year and a half or so. I think.
So this is back when we were in college.
It was right when we started college because episode 3 was out.
Yeah.
Because pretty much in the old series, it was all episode 3 characters. And that's when I was buying them. Like, I actually bought Star Wars figures and collected them, and so, yeah, the original run was all clone troopers. I think it was almost entirely all characters from Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of when it was happening, and so, and I want to say, it never had an ending. It just kind of stopped because I think I had other things going on, and I got behind, and then things just kind of diffused after that, really. Before it was even on the website, it was at our old forum, when forums really existed. And
we're dating ourselves.
Very much. I mean, heck, this is all back in 2005. The title, Star Wars Kinda, just became out of that. It was just the title of the thread that said Star Wars ... Kinda.
Yeah.
And I posted it up there, and granted, Liger's Dungeon was never anything huge. I think we had like 100 members with 10 or not 10. I'm being kind.
Yeah.
6
actual
contributing to discussions, and we had our own.
It was mostly just us and like a couple people we knew.
We were pretty much all just discussing each other's stuff on there, which was funny considering we would also see each other every day at school, and we would discuss our stuff there anyway before we text and call.
Yeah.
So. Hence why that place is now run by bots. And,
it's still there, I think. So.
But it got a lot of positive feedback from everyone over there for the most part. And so, you know, it was a driving force for me to go, I can make a comic out of this. I had mostly clone troopers, because that is what the bulk of the toy line was. And there's one character in particular, Commander Gree, who is a green clone trooper. He's in episode 3, and he just kind of stuck out with me. Yeah. Like, he's not white, he's all green, he's all shades of green, and he was just a very unusual looking character for what he was, and I just kind of clung on to him and started putting him in funny poses and things like that, and making up dialogue in my head with other figures like, you know, 22-year-old men do.
Right.
And started coming up with some ideas and then just producing them. Ever since then, you know, I've always really enjoyed that character. I was telling a friend about this the other day when we were talking about me bringing this back, which it's funny because I have done more with that one clone trooper than anybody has in all of like Star Wars fiction.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Nobody uses Gree for anything?
Nobody uses Gree. He appeared in an episode of Clone Wars once, and that was it. I think he had like one line. So, and granted, he's a terrible character that I created, but he's a fun character, and he is kind of like the star of Star Wars kinda then and now. I don't even remember doing it, but apparently I got rid of all my Star Wars figures, but I kept Gree. Wherever I've gone, at my jobs, like if I have a desk or something, he's there. In my office, in my home, he is there with the toy beer that I always had him with.
Uh-huh.
And so...
What's the beer from? Because you got a lot of neat little props, and a lot of them are actually from Star Wars figures.
The original prop, like the beer is original. That's actually from Kyle, a friend of mine that gave me a bunch of beer bottles and props. And you know, this was 10 years ago.
Do you have any idea where it's like what it's actually from?
I think it's from a Jay and Silent Bob toy set.
Oh, right on.
He had like action figures. I think so. I don't know. They might not be. I'm not 100%.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it fits in his hand, and so usually he's always been seen with it. It's a character that I've just kind of grown to love, even though I've created it myself. So I've always kept him with me. So when I decided to start bringing this back, I'm glad I kept that, and I've slowly been recollecting figures to make this comic.
Why did you decide to relaunch the comic?
Well,
not that I'm unhappy.
One of the reasons that I stopped doing it was we were all creating our own stuff back then. I was using someone else's created properties. You know, Star Wars is owned by Lucas, owned by Disney. I can't claim ownership over any of this.
Right.
And during a time when,
just
you know...
the jokes.
Yeah, the jokes, that's it. I mean, it's considered parody, which is no doubt under fair use, but I can't market anything. So I didn't really want to create something that I couldn't really own. So that's one of the main reasons why I stopped doing it. Over the years I've been asked, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, and I've always said no because I can't own it. I want to be known as something I can, that's all mine, and as something I can actually do and claim complete. I can't really claim any of this. You know, 10 years later, Star Wars is back with a new movie and pretty much an almost all brand new franchise where we're going to get a movie every year. You know, it just kind of jump-started me. I saw the new movie. I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah.
But it kind of gave me a driving force to want to, you know, get back into Star Wars because I hadn't been into Star Wars for quite a long time. And even though I saw the movie and I didn't like it, I started making jokes of inconsistencies and plot holes that I didn't agree with, and so I started writing them down, and I was actually going to start drawing little comics of them until I was like, oh, I've got a bunch of Star Wars figures in a box somewhere, and I can start using these again. And so I pulled them all out one night, and I started taking pictures of them, and I instantly was like, I should just bring this back. This is hilarious. I've been, for the past couple months, been collecting certain figures that I want, and I got this this diorama piece to actually shoot the sets in, which is the Cantina bar scene, which seems fitting considering my version of Clone Troopers are a bunch of drunken idiots.
Right, yeah.
So it instantly clicked right there.
Yeah, it is the perfect setting.
It really is.
It made me think, because I remember for a time, the old series, you actually shot partially in like a dollhouse that my parents had.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you can use this!
Yep, and this thing was like legitimately like this big.
It was two-story, yeah.
It was probably about 9 inches by 9 inches room boxes, so it worked. And that, because before then what I was using two 8x11 pieces of paper, one on the ground, one in the back, taped to a wall in my room, and photographing. It works for one-line jokes, stuff like that, but I've always kind of wanted sets.
Yeah.
And so this set works perfectly, because honestly, if I didn't have a set like this, I wouldn't be doing this comic. In my opinion, it's kind of the soul of the comic. It's it really ties the room together.
Yeah. What were your tools for making this comic before, and what do you use now?
Before, I think what I was using was, I was just using a digital camera that I owned. And that was really difficult because, I mean, this was 2005. A digital camera was really great at the time, but even then, focusing and doing lighting and stuff was just horrendous. And then I was putting them through Microsoft Paint.
Yes.
To do edit. And then...
add in your word bubbles and everything in Paint?
Yep.
Yep.
And then I had a second program known as Photo Bucket, which was like a free program. It was a very, very poor man's Photoshop. Nowadays, I take photography with my iPhone, which has a really good camera. I have a tripod that everything gets set up on, and I make sure it's all level, and it's a tripod that can actually get really low, and what I do is I essentially put photos in, determine where I want it, take the photo, and then I take it over to my computer, which has Photoshop and all these editing tools, and then I can actually go in and make the comic look good. And it takes a while. It's like probably, the photography alone probably takes less than 10 minutes. Like back in the old days, it probably took a lot longer because I'd always have to be working on focusing. I don't have to do that anymore with my phone. And then taking it into Photoshop probably takes, probably 20, 30 minutes. So all in all, from beginning to end, with prepping, putting this thing together, because it's not just up on my dining room table at all times.
Right, yeah.
Getting it from start to finish, it probably takes me a little less than an hour to actually get one done. The hard thing is that it probably takes close to 3 or 4 hours, because once I get on a roll, I want to shoot more and more and more. So I'll probably get like three comics done.
So you kind of in chunks, at least so far.
Yeah.
You said a lot of the ideas just come up from like inconsistencies from the franchise and like things that you kind of want to poke fun at the movies themselves.
Yeah, I love Star Wars. I know so much about Star Wars. I am not someone who's like completely ignorant of seeing all of the stuff that people poke fun at. I totally know it, and I'll poke fun at it in a fun way.
Yeah.
A lot of my jokes will also come from me just thinking, because I personally think I can be kind of a creative and funny person. I can make a lot of jokes, so a lot of jokes that show up are just ones that I create myself.
Yeah.
Like I will look at characters and go, all right, I can do something with how that character looks, or I can do a joke about how this character looks parallel to this character, stuff like that.
Like the first comeback comic, I feel like a lot of that is just visual humor of just like it's funny because it's action figures.
Yes,
like,
yes, that's
like half of the joke sometimes is just that it's like, hi, you got the action figure to look depressed. Like, that's great.
That is funny. Just the last panel of a clone looking sad, where he's leaned over on a table and his head is down and turned. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny, and so when I try and get new figures, I try to buy ones that are as posable as possible, because ones that aren't posable, I can't do anything with.
You got a pretty sizable cast. We were looking at it all earlier, and I mean, it's more than this. It's a lot more than this. But if there's one figure you could get for this that you don't have now, like what's a figure that you really want to have that you think would be fun to use?
Probably get back like an Emperor Palpatine figure, because I did some jokes with that, or I really, really want this, and it doesn't exist, but I want Old Man Luke from the end of Force Awakens. And if it comes out, I'm going to buy one.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, you probably won't have to wait too long.
I really hope not. I am hoping that they're going to make one of those, because I do want one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can do a lot of fun stuff with that, because while a lot of the humor that's going on right now is pretty much episodes 1 through 6 toys, I do have some episode 7 toys, and I do have jokes planned for those. And you'll be seeing one come up pretty soon, but it's also me being a nerd, I don't really want to use a young Luke with a character that's in this movie now. It looks kind of dumb.
So there are some rules.
There's some things. I mean, it's not like, you're going to see some characters that, it's not in continuity whatsoever.
Right.
But there are some things that I kind of would like to do. One character I got the other day was, I got another Jar Jar Binks. And I love Jar Jar Binks. I actually really do. I like poking fun at him, but I also enjoy the character. I acquired one the other day, so I'm excited to do stuff with him. So there's always fun things. I can always look at a figure and go, can I make jokes about this? Yes, I can. I should pick this up. Or this character will look good in the back of a scene. I try not to buy too many of those, because those are expensive.
Yeah, you don't need a ton of background characters, but it is fun to have some variety too.
Oh yeah, it's like since it's in the cantina, I like to, I want aliens in the back. But I'm always also like, I'm not spending more than $3 on one of these things.
Right, yeah.
Because they're just going to be background characters.
Yeah.
Like, I spent $30 on the Cantina band. That's a lot of money. They were expensive back then. But I really think they tie it all together. They're never going to do anything, really.
Right,
But they look fun in the back.
But it's fun. It's fun to have them. So, yeah. Well, I sure appreciate you wanting to do this again and wanting to put it on the Facebook page. I thought that was a cool idea.
Yeah, the main reason for having it on Facebook is it's a fun comic to do and everything. It's not worth building a website for. It's really not. Like I said, I don't own this. I can't own this. I can't make a book out of it. I can't make shirts out of it.
I would wear a Commander Grease shirt.
I would too, and if I could find one, I would wear it. But since I can't make marketing off of this, much like how you are with your comic Next Twos, I can't do that. The budget for this is solely for figures, and I can't really justify making a website for this. I can't justify making any kind of merchandise for this. So it's going to stay on the Facebook page, which is probably the best place for it. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is a comic that's totally optional. I intend to keep doing it for quite a long time. I mean, until I get bored with it. But since Star Wars is back full force, I mean, there's always stuff I can do with this.
Yeah, for sure.
There's always jokes I can tell. So I'm really stoked to do this comic again. You know, even if it is just kind of a, just happens.
Well, I'd like to thank Matty Martin for being my fabulous guest today. Thank you guys for watching. Keep an eye. There will be links down below to the Facebook page. We might dig up some classic ones too for you guys to check out some of the early works. And yeah, look forward to more Star Wars kinda in the near future.
And please keep watching the Tomcast.
Awesome. We didn't even knock anything over.
No.
All right, cool.
Oh, look what you did, you son of a bitch.